Hey y'all. I had a bit of a chaotic week. Sorry, let me just quickly say today's video is about losing trust in a therapist. Um, yeah, so starting with that, I've shared before that I've had difficulties finding a therapist that I can click with. Until, the therapist that I've been working with most recently. And even then, sometimes I felt a break of trust a little bit of like a lot of last minute cancellations. And then that kind of made me feel not fully invested in the therapy myself because I was getting help and I've gotten the most help that I've ever gotten, but it is still very hurtful when I'm sharing like, oh, that looks weird. When I'm sharing, deeply personal, stories and whatever, we're working through heavy stuff and there's just a lot of like cancellations. Like her sickness tends to fall a lot on my therapy sessions, I guess. I'm just unlucky in that way. But whatever, I looked past it and I was just like, I'm getting a lot of help. Be grateful for the help that you're getting, just kind of take what you can get mentality. Until recently, I had to miss one session unannounced because there was a lot of chaos going on, like true chaos that like took front seat of like, I'm not quite comfortable sharing all that happened yet. And then that was last week. And then this week's therapy session, it's virtual. I went to go log on. She normally messages me in the morning like, oh, I'll see you today at, our therapy session. And she didn't do that. And then I didn't think anything of it because I was working. And then I went to go log in and it said I wasn't scheduled for anything. And I messaged her like an hour before the session, like, are we still meeting today? But when she didn't answer, I just signed on because I thought like maybe she was busy. And that's when I saw like there was nothing scheduled. And then she messaged me later that day of like, oh, since you didn't, show up last week, I just took you off the schedule. And that really bothered me, that her response to me not showing up wasn't to check in with me to see if I was okay. Just a simple text message or phone call, email, anything, especially with all the stuff that we've been talking about recently or that we've been talking about surrounding my life. Like, how can you just so quickly drop a person without checking in on them? And I gave her some insight of what happened and she was like, oh my God, like, are you okay? And then I, mentioned like, luckily, like I have some buffer room and like I'm in training for a job, so I'm out of town for a couple weeks. And then her response to that was, I can't do therapy because you're not in the state, but we can call and do a check-in. And then I understand policies, protocol. I don't need to be corrected. I'm just sharing how I feel. To me, it's like, okay, so you're willing to drop me quickly without checking in on me and see what my situation is. And then you're hyper-focused on the fact that I'm out of state rather than it just seemed more like it just seemed like it came across to me like a lack of genuine care. Like, the thing that's people point to for not wanting to do therapy in the first place of like, why am I going to talk to a stranger who doesn't really care? Like, I'm just a number, I'm just a quota, and it just really made me feel that way. And with this said, it just really makes me not want to talk to her about anything that's happened recently. It makes me not want to talk to her at all. Like, in any other setting, like if someone was to drop me that quickly without any attempt on their part to like figure out what's going on, like would I really feel comfortable sharing anything intimate or personal with them? And the answer for me is no. Like, I just wouldn't ever do that to someone. And that just compounds the hurt that I'm feeling that's going on in my personal life. Like, for me to go back and, share what's going on after that. Like, it just feels like a lack of self-respect on my part, and I don't think I can do that. And then I just hear myself in my mind of like, oh, well, she's helped and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, that's true, but like the trust that I had in her has been severely broken, to know that she would just drop me that quick without a quick "are you okay?" Like, the "are you okay" text should come before just taking me off the schedule. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and a part of me is filtering myself because I just feel like it's just like the inner critic of my mind of like many times where I've been held to this high standard of behaving perfectly in order to avoid absolving all blame. And I had to be perfect a lot in order to not be blamed for everything that was going on around me. And I hear that self-critic of like, well, you really should have notified her that you weren't going to the therapy and blah, blah, blah. But like, it would just make sense if you knew what was going on, why I didn't. I'm just experiencing a lot of hurt and sadness by a week span filled with disappointment and betrayal. And I was very much so looking forward to processing that information, just to find out that I had another incident of disappointment and betrayal to face. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else for me to say on that topic other than like, I'm like stuck in this thing of like, do I want more therapy? Do I want to talk to someone else, but like put in the work to talk to someone else? You know, like, this is why people get discouraged when it comes to therapy in the first place. And I don't know if I want to go through all that again, where like someone has to learn me in a way where they understand. No, I don't think I want to. Yeah, I think I'm done with that for a little bit. And I'm just gonna focus on other goals that I have, which I don't mind sharing. I want to go to the gym more. There's some fitness type classes that I want to take. I want to learn how to roller skate well. You know, just do dance classes, fitness classes, and I want to learn how to fence. You know, just like these little goals that I have. I shouldn't call them little goals. They're just like, you know, hobbies that I'm interested in, that I want to further develop the skill and just have a release of energy. I think that'll benefit me more than just kind of sitting down and building yet another relationship with a stranger that is based on them meeting a quota. And this is not to like discourage anyone else from going to therapy. It's just sharing my headspace of where I'm at and what I'm feeling. If you would like to share, I don't know, I'm doing the whole question thing at the end. If, you know, you can resonate with what I'm saying, please let me know in the comments. Or if you want to say anything at all, do so in the comments. Although you could have done it without my permission. You don't need my permission to comment on anything. Do what you want. It's your life.